just better call somebody!
You're listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.
The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be.
A podcast discussing all things AEW and WWE.
Give me a hell yeah!
Now, let's meet the host.
Are you ready?
Kyle Gagliardi.
The face that runs the place.
Jim Tucker. And Erica Marini.
I'm the boss. I'm the blueprint. I'm the standard.
Well, I think we've had enough talk. It's time for the main event.
What is going on, everyone? You're listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, hosted by the Marks, for the Marks, and I'm your host, Mr. OTM, Kyle Gagliardi. Aww. And my co-host this evening is the wonderful, the awing, Erica Marini. Aww. Erica, how are you?
I didn't even realize that you had that shirt on. So the awe was like
the one-of-a-kind Mr. OTM t-shirt that is not even on our shop anymore, Erica.
That's called an exclusive.
2 people have it. Yours truly and the former MVM, Ryan Gagliardi. He, of course, has to have a t-shirt.
All right.
I have one diehard true fan, and that's my brother.
Well, he's built in.
That's fair.
But it counts.
You don't have your own t-shirt. You're not as cool as I am. So
no, well, one day.
We workshop some ideas. We still can workshop some more, but we'll get there when we get there. Erica, how are you doing this evening?
I'm good. What about you?
I'm all right.
I'm a little behind the 8 ball.
So yeah, why don't you put it out there? What have you seen in the past week?
Nada.
You've at least seen SmackDown, right?
No.
Really?
No, I didn't watch SmackDown. I missed Raw, and then I didn't get to watch either show last night. So, but in my defense, I have a great co-host / friend that always, what's it called? Your little breakdown.
Outlines the show.
He outlines. And I think being on the Twitter, social media in general, it catches you up enough in a way. So it'll be good.
Fair enough. And as you can see or hear, Tucky's not with us. And we're doing this on a Wednesday because, Erica, you got some Thursday plans going on.
I don't know. Yeah.
What do you mean you don't know?
No, I mean, I do know. This, just girl stuff,
Halloween activities, spooky season.
Yeah, just some girl time. So it'll be fun. Tis the season.
Tis the season indeed. So we figured we would go live here on Wednesday. Since we had 2 shows happening on Tuesday, we don't have to worry about going head-to-head with AEW Dynamite tonight because that happened last night. And it was an interesting show, and we're going to get to that. We're kind of going to go all over the place this evening. So if you're a fan of NXT, just the WWE main roster, AEW, we got you covered. We're going to cover it all here this week. That's right. Mm-hmm. So before we get into it, of course, Erica, we got to remind the listeners about our merchandise that we have. And we are running a discount code this weekend because there is a show happening. Halloween Havoc is happening this Saturday. So if you use promo code Havoc at checkout at the onthemarkwrestlingpodcast.com, you will save 10% off of your order. And we have the first comment of the night rolling in. It is my mother. We don't have Tuck to make those sound things and clap.
We'll give you real claps, Donna. You deserve all the real claps.
Who needs a soundboard when you have Erica Marini?
Ready and willing.
That's right. Ready, willing, and Gable. Remember that? Remember when you used to say that?
I think you're right, yes.
So yeah, go visit the onthemarkwrestlingpodcast.com. Get yourself some merch for this wonderful fall season. Erica was freezing before we started recording. It's only 50 degrees there. It's 40 here in Northwest Indiana.
Crazy.
So
it's all happening so fast.
I guess we win. I don't think that's much of a win, though.
Yeah, you win, but you lose.
Exactly. But this weekend, it's going to be 70 here.
Really?
It makes no sense.
Is that typical of Midwest? Are you Midwest?
Yeah, Midwest, the Great Lakes area. We have very random weather here. It goes in spurts, like from 40 degrees to 70. Then we're going to go back down into like snow. It's just we had a little bit of snow on Monday. and it was what,
Oh.
October 10th, or I don't know what date it is, but
Yeah, wow.
it's hard out here in Indiana.
It is. It seems it. My heart goes out to you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So yeah, the game plan for today, Erica, is pretty simple. We're just going to hop around from topic to topic. And the first thing
talk about it.
Yeah, the first thing I think we need to talk about is Bray Wyatt finally making an appearance on Friday Night SmackDown last week. And this was the real, and I'm going to put like air quotes over that, the real version of Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda, if you will, because he came out just as himself with the lantern, and he kind of just talked about how he missed the fans and how he has gone through a lot emotionally these past few years, but the fans wanting him drew him back to the industry. So that was kind of cool, though, to see the realism of Bray Wyatt. Did you get to see anything of this promo?
I did. And I felt the same way. I liked that it was him. I liked that he was given the opportunity to come out after all this time, because as much as we all speculated throughout the year that, oh, maybe he comes back for this, maybe he debuts in AEW, maybe he comes back on this event, and we all kind of wanted him back. I don't know if anybody ever saw it actually happening. And so the fact that like the day had come and he was given this chance to like speak to the fans and acknowledge his absence and, you know, everything that he was going through and what the fans were going through and how like they connected with him during his absence, I thought it was great. I liked to see like this real side of him. And I like that this was like his first promo into it. It didn't automatically start with the spookiness of it all. Like it's genuine and it was something different. I liked it.
Well, yeah, because the Bray Wyatt we know always has some kind of gimmick or spookiness to him. We never got to see the real person, and that we got a little glimpse of that. I don't think it's going to be a permanent thing, but I think it might have been a smart way to just reintroduce him back into the WWE universe. And speaking of the WWE universe, I didn't want to see him anywhere else because I think if you take Bray Wyatt and you put him in AEW, I don't think it works, Erica.
No, I don't either. There's something, because as much as I complain about like the theatrics and production of WWE, somebody like Bray could only really work there.
Right. And I don't know what's going to, be the next step for the Bray Wyatt character, because towards the end of this promo, they cut to the Tron, and what I would assume is him under a mask was talking to him and speaking these words that I don't know word for word, but obviously it was showing this dark character. And now a lot of people are speculating because they went off the air like this. This is a total cliffhanger that you would get on like some reality TV show every week. What was your initial thought when you saw that? Like, do you think that's just we're going to see different sides of Bray Wyatt and he's going to play these multiple characters, or is there maybe a higher power than Bray Wyatt?
My very first thought was, I love that there's someone above him, that he's not head weirdo in whatever he's about to get himself involved in, that there's someone over him, which is like super interesting to me because I just feel like Bray is like the be all end all of like spookiness. So I like that. But then I did see people say that maybe like the Wyatt 6 is like his 6 personalities, which would be cool in theory, but I feel like we did that with the Fiend and the Funhouse.
In a way, yeah.
In a way, I don't know, but maybe now given him creative control and having the head of creative be someone that is like close with him in real life, maybe they can do it differently. Maybe they could do it in a way that maybe he wanted to in the past. I don't know. Either way, it's going to be cool.
No, yeah, I'm very, very excited for what's to come. And we don't get that too often, or maybe we didn't, I should say, when Vince was running things, kind of like those cliffhangers that make you go, oh shit, I gotta tune into SmackDown.
Yeah, what happens?
Next week.
Yeah.
Like what is this leading to? And honestly, I don't have a good guess. And that's what I think is so cool about all of this is no one really knows what's the next step. But if it is like him having multiple characters, I mean, if anybody's going to do it, for one, it's Bray Wyatt.
For sure.
And two, it gives him, multiple things to do that is away from the world title. Because I know initially people probably are going to treat Bray Wyatt as a baby face. So I don't know what's next. I'm excited for it. Do you have any guesses, or are you just along for the ride?
What if he does? So at first I was like, no, like the personality thing, it's been done. But like, what if like he does What if he has 6 different entrances? And
Good
like,
Lord.
and they're all like twisted. Like, I don't know. Like somebody posted a picture of them. Remember that movie Split?
I don't think.
And it was like, I think he was like a schizophrenic, and he like trapped like these girls in his house, and like.
Oh, I think I know. The guy was bald, right?
Yeah. And then, and like, whatever, like, kept referring to his different personalities as the names and this and that. I don't know. It's going to be cool. If he has someone above him, I do not know who it could be. I can't think even like someone right now that would work. I don't know, but I don't know. But
I have a name.
Oh,
I have a name. I think it could be a stretch just off of, what we've heard for the reasoning of him leaving AEW. Like, what if it's Aleister Black?
Oh.
Because I don't know.
He had that like Louisiana slang, like Bray.
Well, maybe they're just having Bray do the voicing
Yeah,
to throw you off that the higher power is actually somebody else.
Imagine. That would be unfuckwithable. I don't know how you... I've only ever read that word.
Unfuckwithable?
Yeah.
I like that. That could be put on a t-shirt right there. So yeah, the Bray Wyatt stuff, we'll see what happens here in a couple nights on SmackDown, because that left me wanting more, as probably the same with you. So
spooky.
We'll find out. Robbie Collins is tuning in. He says, "Hello, guys. Hope
Hi,
you're
Robbie.
Well. We are doing fantastic, wouldn't you say, Erica?"
Yes, indeed.
We're gonna move on from the Bray Wyatt stuff and go over to Monday Night Raw. And we just got an official announcement for Crown Jewel after Brock's shocking return last week and their brawl to kick off Monday Night Raw this week. WWE has officially announced that Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley is happening at Crown Jewel. Erica, I know you didn't watch Raw, but did you get to see any clips from the beginning?
I did get to see some clips, and they just like beat the shit out of each other.
Big meaty men bumping meat.
Bumping meat. Like, how do you go wrong with that? That's just a recipe for deliciousness.
And I see a lot of people like complaining, "Oh, what's the story here? There's really not much to it. Do we need to see it again?" I want to see it again.
Here's my thing: is like I think I'm just too much of a gigantic mark, but like, let me see it now in Triple H's era.
Yeah,
I don't care if I've seen it like 5 years ago. I don't care. Like, I want to see it now. I want to see it done with the way it could be done. I don't know. So let's run it back.
I don't want you to spoil who you would potentially be picking, and you probably don't even know, because when we get to the preview show, you won't know. But if you were to guess, who do you think, or I shouldn't say who, if you were to guess, who do you think needs this win more?
I feel like I'm inclined to say Bobby Lashley, but like, does Brock not give a shit? I don't know. What's the future of Brock Lesnar? Is he
just chasing the Saudi bag?
Oh, yeah, true.
I mean, I don't blame him. I think Shawn Michaels and Triple H, when they did that match with Undertaker and Kane, got like $5 million.
And Saudis love Brock.
Who doesn't love Brock? I mean, come on. I still don't think he should have been the one to defeat the streak, but that's a topic for another day.
It still hurts.
Let's go to what Bogus is saying too. Brock doesn't need the win.
It's true.
He could come back in 6 months and get the mega pop. And that's true 100%, because he does do that frequently. And every time he comes back, the crowd goes apeshit.
Yeah. I think even if he stayed and went on a losing streak, he's just so, for lack of a better word, like powerful that I don't know.
Teflon. He's in a rare like group with like Seth Rollins. And in my opinion, Drew McIntyre doesn't get hurt much with losses, because I still think he's a great face. But there's only like a handful of people that you could say that for, and Brock Lesnar is one of them. But to answer my question that I had to you, I would agree. I think Bobby Lashley needs it more, but I think we need to see how this story kind of develops here in the coming weeks before we can kind of just say definitively who is going to win. But I'm here for it. Raise your hand if you're here for it.
I'm also here for it.
Let's get to it then. And like Bogus abbreviated down there, we got to reiterate it. Big, meaty men bumping meat. That's the way. That could be another t-shirt. See, my mind's always going to t-shirts. That should just be one.
T-shirt time.
Trying to make money. Oh, t-shirt time. I like that reference. Bogus. Bobby got cheered beating down Brock, just like Brock did beating down Bobby.
Yeah.
People just want to see carnage. And who better than those two to do that?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's official at Crown Jewel. Let's get to something else that's going to make Ryan Vogus very happy. And I know Erica has some thoughts on this because I think you even asked me, are we going to talk about this, didn't you?
Yeah.
So let's talk about it. Baron Corbin, it's been what I believe a month, maybe a few weeks, who knows, since we last seen him on TV. He returns with JBL, kind of reintroducing him as the modern day wrestling god to the crowd, explaining how he has been officially traded for Rey Mysterio. So he gets his name back, Erica. The theme song's a little different than Happy Corbin, not much. The gear, what are we thinking here? The new Baron Corbin, how are we feeling?
I feel bad. I feel bad that
Elaborate.
like he's good in the ring. There's just something so majorly lacking that I can't put my finger on. And I feel like no matter what he does, no matter how long he's gone for, every time he comes back, you are not getting a pop ever. And I feel like there's just always a tone of disappointment, just like every time. And it's like bums me out because he seems like a good dude. And I like hate that for him. And I want to like fix it. I just don't know like what needs to happen.
I do have a couple ideas to sort of fix. First off, I love Baron Corbin just getting his regular name back, the Happy Corbin stuff.
Oh,
that's annoying. Give me a better theme song. Make him more of a badass. Change your gear. Because what is that gear that he had? If he's with JBL, he should be looking a little better, which, like Vogus said, speaking of JBL, how about those pants last night?
Oh, my God. Those were
or 2 nights ago, I should say. He looked like a 2003 NBA draft pick with that suit.
Also, hi, Mikey Wilson.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Mikey Wilson, a rare tune-in live. Is he going to be a rich cowboy now? With that gear, I don't think that gave me rich cowboy vibes.
And are they going to be together?
You could still get a pop even if you're a heel, Vogus. I think a pop just goes to a loud reaction in general. That's just my perception of the definition of a pop.
Yeah.
But there's still things that need to be tweaked with this character. I guess I like the idea of having him with JBL, but wouldn't you agree, at least I think, Baron Corbin really doesn't need a mouthpiece, does he? He's solid on the mic.
No. And there's no, I think we like teased about this, but like there's no affiliation with him and Bray, right?
Probably not. I mean, you can't, I think we should say never, right? But
that's true.
I don't think so, especially with this like JBL thing now. I just hope the JBL thing's not permanent. I don't want to see him on my TV every week.
Yeah, no.
It's just that generic old school heat when JBL comes out.
Yeah.
And Mikey said it's called personality, Erica. He is missing a personality.
You got it.
I mean, yes, that Vogus is right. He gets everyone he faces cheered, which is the job of the heel. But like you said, Erica, he's good in ring, solid on the mic. It's just he doesn't have the star power, I think.
Something, yes.
Substance.
And like let him be the heel. Like, and I've thought of this a few times. And yeah, he's just a go-to heel. Like plug him in anything, he'll make it work. Absolutely. And I don't think he's expecting to have like massive t-shirt sales or like whatever, but there's still just like something. And I don't.
Well, I mean,
maybe it is the personality.
The lone wolf thing in NXT was good. I liked when he came out and they had the spotlights and he just walked step by step through the spotlights. And obviously the lone wolf character wouldn't make sense with JBL, but something that just makes him more badass.
Was it the hair? Did we need those strands of hair? And we lost them, and now he lost his mojo.
I would say let's wait and see what happens, but I just don't think anything is going to.
Oh, Vogus. He's defending
Vogus
his man.
is just mad. Yeah, he's just mad because we're talking about Baron Corbin. I don't hate him like I used to. Like I get what he's there for, but I just don't think he's a star, and I don't think.
And I want it for him. I do.
Because I do like you said, I like the person he is because he's always posting like steaks on Twitter and stuff. He's grilling out, and I'm like, yeah, he just seems like a dude drinking Elisha Craig bourbon.
He does. He seems like someone that you'd probably like went to high school with and would like be buddies with, or like
I would sit down with him on Sunday and watch NFL football. But
yeah,
am I going to buy his T-shirt? No, I'm not going to buy his T-shirt, and that's That's a big thing. And if he's over with me is if I want to buy his t-shirt, and he's not. Vogue is saying, I'll look forward to you saying I was right again. Next topic. Well, we are moving on to the next topic. What are you going to be right about, Vogus? Because this isn't going to get him a world championship. You can clip that. This gimmick is not going to get him to that next level.
Hey, look what happened to Carl Anderson.
Well, I don't think Carl Anderson's going to get any.
I meant like never come back. Hunter sucks.
Gotcha. Well,
see you in Saudi.
You could use it against me then if you want, but I don't think it's going to work out. So let's move over to AEW Dynamite. Last night was a night full of returns, apparently, because we had not just some returns in NXT, but AEW Riho returned for a post-match save after Toni Storm defeated Shida. And I always forget, Erica, that Riho was the first ever women's champion, but the title scene right now in AEW, at least for the women's championship, it's kind of crowded because you still have Britt Baker hanging out there. Jamie Hayter's also there. Shida, Riho, Saraya. What's going on there? Because in my opinion, I think we need Thunder Rosa back. I think we need her back.
I also don't think that this would be the situation. I mean, I'm not complaining, but I don't think that this would be the situation if Britt still had the belt. Even if she had it this whole time, I can't see. Like, it was tough for them to build other female stars.
It would have gotten stale if she was still a champion.
Yes. But I forgot what I was going to say.
Well, I will.
They need like a mid-card women's belt to chase, not the TBS title or whatever the hell it is, TNT title, like not that, but like something, because you have all these women, like you said, then it's like.
I think the TBS title is kind of supposed to be that, like, quote unquote mid-card title, but Jade is just so strong right now. It's not really viewed in that capacity.
Like, you painted yourself into a corner with that.
It's tough, and I think they should have probably pulled the trigger with Jamie Hayter at All Out, because it's kind of similar to the Acclaim situation. The crowd was kind of forcing their hand, and I think they had something with Jamie Hayter. It would have been different. You split that from Britt Baker, and you have Jamie as the champion and Britt chasing, Jamie for the time being until whenever Thunder Rosa gets back, because right now Toni Storm's good. Like, most people like her. But what's been special about this title run? I don't think anything.
No.
Bring back Thunder Rosa. Are you excited to have Rio back?
No, she was before I started watching, so.
You were a day one AEW gal?
What?
Am I forgetting that? Yeah, I was asking that question. You weren't?
Oh, yeah, no, I wasn't. But I just remember that she was the first because the belt was like this big. But like she's this big, so like really worked. But then didn't like Nyla win it off of her?
Yes, and
then it just like looked ridiculous because like Nya's like bigger. I mean, Nyla's bigger, yeah.
Yeah, and at least now they have a better looking women's title belt. But I don't know, that title scene right now is very crowded. Yes. Mikey Wilson didn't even know that she was gone. I didn't really either. There's been a lot of women that just like pop in and pop out. Shida is one of them, but they're also doing other work, I believe, overseas. So that makes a little bit more sense. But let's move on to something else that happened here on AEW Dynamite. It's got a lot of people talking, Erica, and it easily, in my opinion, could be the segment of the year if that was an award, because what AEW does better than most companies is bringing realism into storylines. And we had MJF and Regal in the ring, and MJF brought up the past and how he has all these, receipts from these emails that when MJF was trying to get into the WWE, and that, William Regal basically almost crushed MJF's dream of becoming a professional wrestler. MJF even says he contemplated suicide after he got that message. And it's just insane to see the reactions that MJF's getting. But I think when you have the realism of this, email chain that they had in the past, it's hard not to get behind MJF.
I don't know what this kid does, but every single thing, and I've said this week after week, every single like feud, or even when one ends and I don't know like what he's going to do after, he just keeps it fresh and always has something like in the chamber ready. And the fact that these are all like real actual happenings, and that was a real story, and that those were real emails. I saw someone tweet that he's got like 7, like, what is it? Like villain origin stories or like whatever. Like he's just got something with everyone. And like you said, he's getting these kind of like face reactions. It was kind of strange, like when he said, when I got that email, like I wanted to kill myself, and Regal was like I was like,
and he's like
right,
smiling. I was like, yeah, you don't.
Yeah,
smile.
we might have like could have played that different, but I bought into all of it. I thought it was. Do you have something else to say? Because I will say something that I heard.
No, I really don't have much
an idea.
That I really enjoyed this segment because and Regal did, have a comeback of sorts, but it wasn't the same as MJF's promo that he cut on Regal because the crowd seemed to kind of turn on William Regal. And if you're getting a crowd to turn on William Regal, you did something right on your end of things. So what was your idea?
I just saw somebody say that, like, as much as they don't maybe need each other, like imagine if this is kind of like a ploy and then they eventually like work together and then it's Regal saying that like he's going to keep his promise and get him into WWE in 2024. Something like that. I butchered it, but like
I don't think they would use that as like the on-screen story, but behind the scenes.
No, but I feel like that's something that could be like casually dropped and it would just
think, let's fast forward a year from now. It's late 2023. All the speculation that we are going to have over MJF's future, it's going to take up the wrestling world. I mean, I would say you have to probably put the title on him ASAP just to use that as leverage, and he's going to have that match at the next pay-per-view against Jon Moxley. So knowing that, Erica, would you put the title on MJF right there?
I mean, if Renee didn't just sign, I'd say yes. But I just think there's something about her.
You think
joining.
Renee might have something to do with this?
No, but if Mox was going to take a vacation and get an actual vacation and like be able to like take time off with like his wife and baby, then like I'd say let him have it. But I don't know. Especially now that he might be able to do like more behind the scenes stuff. I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
No, I get what you're saying now. I thought you were saying like Renee in a story. That didn't make much sense.
Oh, no. Because I always keep thinking like, oh, well, after this, like the well's going to run dry. He's not going to have anyone else to like have beef with. But like he just constantly just keeps pulling him out like a clown scarf. So who knows?
You're right. He can have a good feud, a good promo with anyone. He even had like a 3-week feud with Wheeler Yuta in between all of this. And it was
great. And they had history. Like when he was screaming that like pro wrestling like is his whole life, like it is, and it proves it. I don't know.
Right now in wrestling, you have, in my opinion, this is just me, Roman Reigns is at the top. He's the top dog. I don't think that's hard to deny, but MJF might be right there for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like just how much buzz this guy gets, how consistent he is, and like you said, he can have a feud with anyone. He might be number 2 in my pro wrestling power rankings.
He knows what he's doing and he does it well and he does it right every time.
That's why he says he's better than you, and you know it.
And we should all know it.
Let's go to the comments though, Erica. Mikey saying that Jericho said in a presser that MJF will be the biggest face in AEW. Yeah, he's on track to be that if he's not already. SCW Steve checking in, the MVM of the Unmarked Wrestling Podcast. Sorry I'm late. You could say I wasn't quite on the mark. Both keeping well. Good play on words there, Steve. And like he said, arguably promo of the year. MJF is on another level. And Mikey Wilson is saying MJF takes the title off Roman Reigns in his first WWE match. Could you imagine that?
Could you imagine Roman Reigns still has the title in 2024? He might.
I was going to say, call me crazy. I could see it.
There's a chance.
I could. That's just how, I mean, there is options now. I think a couple months ago, we didn't really see who could potentially take that from Roman, but I think there's a few on the horizon. So we'll find out. But the last thing, Erica, I wanted to talk about from AEW Dynamite, this is a more serious note, is what happened to Hangman Page. And we had that very scary ending to last night's Dynamite. As everyone has probably already seen or heard, Hangman Page was knocked out and he suffered a concussion in his title match against Jon Moxley. And obviously, Erica, this was no fault to Jon Moxley. It was kind of a freak accident after a clothesline, but they had to end the match right then and there. At first, a lot of people were questioning, is this a work? Is this a shoot? But we saw the camera just kind of pan to the announcers, to Jon Moxley. It was just a very serious and scary moment there on Dynamite. And for the time being, when I was watching it live, I was just hoping that Hangman Page was going to get to wrestle again. Like that was a very scary moment on Dynamite.
It's always scary. I tend to buy into the injuries always, or often I should say, but I've never seen it where they've had to like take the rope off to get him out of the ring. And that just makes your mind go a million miles an hour in a million different places. It was freak. You watch the hit happen, you watch the landing, and then that's it. Like he's just down, and it's if you saw he landed funny, you'd be like, oh shit, yeah, like that was terrible, that was disgusting, this and that, but like you don't see anything, you just don't see him move, and it was just terrifying. And then you could see it all over Mox that he was just feeling awful, obviously, like at the world. It even brought out the human side of MJF to tweet like thoughts. He quickly tweeted afterwards, never mind, I just heard he's gonna be fine, and I had to tweet this like a poor. But like I think that speaks volumes about the person that Hangman Page is, like outside of the ring. Also, I'm obviously very happy, as are you, as is everybody, that he's seemingly going to be okay, and it was just a concussion, but that was really, really scary.
Yeah, first and foremost, I am glad that he's okay. I don't want to say concussions are okay, because nowadays concussions are a very serious issue, and that keeps people out of the ring if they have multiple concussions. You can look at Daniel Bryan, for example. They didn't really clear him in WWE for a while because of concussion history. So take your time with Hangman Page here. Let's just hope he gets back to full strength. You don't really necessarily need him right now, especially with MJF and Moxley now going to have that match, which they did set that up after this incident. But like Mikey said, it obviously wasn't as extreme as the Owen Hart incident, but the last time they did something similar to this, where they didn't even show the guy getting hurt on camera, was when Owen Hart unfortunately passed away, and they had to just pan to the commentary table. So similar vibes there, but as we know now, it is just a concussion. He has been cleared. He is home. He's even tweeting now. So that is the good news. Let's get to a comment here from Steve. He's got a long one for us, having to do with our previous topic. He said, TK needs to put the title on MJF, play that storyline of MJF threatening to leave AEW with the title, even if MJF resigns. Good idea. They shouldn't say a word, Steve's saying. Then MJF loses that title on the last day of the deal.
I like that a lot. And especially that he resigns, but like no one knows that he resigned.
Exactly.
And then he's just off your TV for like a couple of months or however long, and everyone's just buzzing. And then he either doesn't show up or he does show up. And oh yeah, I like that. Good call, Steve.
I will say this though, if AEW is keeping it hush, I think he's going to WWE, because AEW likes to, leak things or tweet out, like for Jon Moxley, we have a 5-year extension with, unless Tony's smart enough to kind of use that as story. And maybe
I feel like if he was ever going to play his cards close to his chest, it would be for that situation. Because otherwise he does like to kind of like blow his load just to like show everybody that, I got Tony Khan? 5 years. Yeah.
No way. Tony doesn't do that. He remember when he bragged about Aleister Black? He's like, Aleister Black, I got him for 5 years. He's not going to.
We must be thinking of different Tonys.
Not my Tony Khan. You're talking about the cocaine sniffing, limousine riding, Jaguar running. Come on. Not my Tony Khan.
Not my Tony Khan.
There's a t-shirt too. There's the t-shirt counter. Not my Tony Khan.
Draw it up.
We'll get those designs going for you after the break. But speaking of breaks, we might as well go ahead and find out what the hell, Erica, the people are saying.
I am curious.
Let's find out.
What's everybody saying about the On The Mark podcast?
It's just insane, and I love it.
Non-stop hardcore energy.
Unlike any other.
It's a great show.
We'll be right back after a brief intermission.
You had to bring it in because Tucky's not here. I appreciate that. Let's get over to NXT. We're going to spend the remainder of the show. We don't really talk about NXT too often, but we're going to get into it here because they had a relatively big show last night, and that went head-to-head with AEW, obviously. And then we got Halloween Havoc coming up this Saturday. And last night, Erica, NXT did load up that show with a lot of former NXT stars in response to AEW, I would assume. So we saw Rhea Ripley. She defeated Roxanne Perez. Shinsuke Nakamura returned to face Stax Lorenzo. And Kevin Owens hosted the KO show in that main event segment with all the NXT title competitors. So Rhea obviously there as Cora's choice for their match that they're going to be having on Saturday. KO's doing the hosting, but with Shinsuke Nakamura back in NXT, I kind of want him to be there full time. How would you feel about Shinsuke getting another run in NXT?
I'd like that a lot. And I kind of had, I know it would be silly, but I kind of had a thought about KO down there as well.
Really?
Not to stay, but I just think that he meddles so much and so well. And especially with how the KO show transpired, I could just kind of see him just having like a little stint down there, the way that Finn did and
Dolph.
AJ did. Yes. Yeah. Just sort of like getting involved. I don't know to what extent, but I don't know. He just runs his mouth. And
well, the Kevin Owens stuff is kind of confusing because, you know, for the first couple of weeks after Vince left, they started to repackage KO into the prize fighter. He looked like he was going to be a big-time player. He had promos with Drew McIntyre kind of hinting towards the title. But the last couple of weeks, nothing. You know,
we all kind of also thought like the Sammy thing too, and that sort of got away from.
That's kind of fading away, I think. So maybe KO could benefit, but I think a guy like Shinsuke Nakamura is just lost right now on the main roster. It worked with Rick Boogs, having Rick Boogs there, introducing him, Pat McAfee dancing on the table. He was a good guy to have around like the IC title, but I think if you go back to NXT with Shinsuke, you maybe even make him NXT champion and then call him up a year later. I think that would be a good way to heat him back up. How do you feel about that?
Yeah. I think time away from the main roster and going back to where it kind of all began for him here anyway, I would be a good idea. And I'd like to see it because he deserves more than what he's gotten on the main roster, especially in like years past. I don't know what the Triple H era would bring for him, but maybe this is what it would bring for him.
If the Triple H era was anything like his black and gold run with Shinsuke, Shinsuke was a star. When he remember the SmackDown when he made his debut, that crowd reaction?
Oh, yeah.
Singing the song. Let's bring him back to NXT, have a couple feuds, maybe win the title, and then send him right back to the main roster.
Yeah.
Mikey Wilson said, you did not talk about Jericho's match. I was a big fan of Peacock Power. What a show. See, here's the thing, Mikey. When you run a podcast, you get to pick and choose what you want to talk about. Last time I checked, Mikey, this is the On the Mark Wrestling podcast. This isn't Region Degenerate. So I will talk about what I want to talk about, and you'll sit there and watch us and interact like a good Mark.
That does not reflect the both of us. I was trying to think of how it says, like the opinions and whatever do not reflect whatever.
We got the heel.
I'm doing a good job with words tonight.
The baby face. You can be the baby face here. Steve said, solid NXT last night. Felt a bit like the black and gold days. I would agree. And Steve agrees with you, Erica. He would like to see KO there for a few weeks to feud with JD McDonough. Okay. I like that. He likes my idea for Nakamura as well. And like you said, Erica, Steve is in agreement once again. It worked for Finn Balor, so it could work for Shinsuke Nakamura. Mikey said you put the comment up. I feel like I won. I put most comments up, don't I, Erica?
Most.
There's a line there, and I teeter with that line from time to time. I know you didn't watch NXT, but was there anything else from that show that you want to talk about, or you just want to get to our Halloween Havoc predictions?
I don't know anything. That was Rhea's first match back, right?
Yeah, weird. And did you hear the crowd reaction that Judgment Day got? That was a pop too.
No. I made it until Judgment Day I didn't hear him come out. I heard Dom running his mouth. And think I fell asleep, and then I woke up. Monday was a rough day, and then I woke up for the Corbin thing, and then that was it. It was lights out.
Well, one more thing before we get to predictions then.
Sorry.
I don't think we've talked about it really. What are your thoughts with the new Dominic Mysterio? Are you feeling it?
Do you want me to say like what I say off air?
Yes, please do.
My non-PC.
Yes, let's hear it.
My shithead friends. Put that kid on a cycle of steroids. Just let him go out there and just tear shit up. Shave his head. Do something. Give him a new outfit. I don't know. He needs something. He's
better than what he was doing.
I agree. And I think I give him an A++ for effort. He sticks it out every week and the crowd's booing him. And I know they're supposed to be booing him, but it's also like the you suck chance. And I kind of feel.
And Mikey talking about Rhea first match back. That was her first match since Nam. Yeah, she was she injured? Was there something
I think
it
was concussion, I think.
Which her match with, if you haven't seen it, Roxanne Perez, I think you should go back and watch it because it was very good. It's a perfect clash of styles going on there. But let's get into Halloween Havoc then. Obviously,
No, wait, what would you do for Dominic?
I like what's going on. I don't think we need to change much. I'm kind of disagreeing with you. I think this is working.
No cycles?
I maybe some steroids. I like that idea.
Jack that kid up.
No, the dynamic with him and Rhea is good. Like that back and forth.
Yeah, no, I agree. But what happens when there's no more Judgment Day or they break up? They're going to stay together? Does that hinder Rhea at all? Like, is he ever going to be able to stand on his own 2 feet?
This is another take that you could clip, but I don't think Dominic Mysterio will ever be a single star. I think he's just a guy in a group, and that's what we're getting here. And he's kind of the focal point right now of Judgment Day. I will give him that, but once the race stuff kind of fades away and we don't have that feud going on in the background, what do we do?
Yeah. And he does need to make a name for himself, and I think that was tough to do with your father, being Rey Mysterio, and Rey Mysterio still being active on the roster, and no matter what you could do, you couldn't get away from that. So
Steve saying, I think Dominic Mysterio sold me my last mobile phone with his current look. That's hilarious. Fair play to Dom, though. He is getting so much heel heat as of late in the Judgment Day. Yeah, he definitely is. And Mikey asked, is it too far to change his last name to Guerrero? Maybe that'll get him
always that. There's always that storyline.
Yeah, you can definitely revisit that. So you want to get to these Halloween Havoc predictions then?
Let's pick them.
Let's do it. And obviously Erica doesn't keep up as much as I do with the NXT product, but she still knows who these people are.
I do have there's a couple that I do.
You got some questions? Go ahead. And if anybody in the chat
like
has
who
questions,
did Shinsuke face? Who is Stax?
Stax
wait,
Lorenzo is
that
the
guy
Tony
that was
D'Angelo
the Tony...
guy. Yeah.
And then who is Oro Mensa?
Yeah, we'll get there. I don't know.
Well, we're talking about who is Nathan Fraser.
Oh, Nathan Fraser. He's the guy that came over and now he's like feuding with Axiom. He's the blonde-haired guy, he's super athletic, cruiserweight kind of guy, formerly known as Ben
Australian?
Carter formerly known as Ben Carter on the Indies.
Who's Axiom?
Axiom,
is that Joe Gacy?
A-Kid. No, that used to be A-Kid. Joe Gacy.
Okay. I drew that. That was inadvertent.
Now that was a teachable moment right there.
All right, I guess I'm.
You guessed it already. And if I'm not mistaken,
we'll ask.
I think the last time we did NXT picks, Erica, I think you won, but we don't have like an NXT belt.
I think you're right, and I think that we don't. And
you know what? For your sake, because you don't win much, Erica, you can be the NXT OTM champion.
Thank you.
So since you're the champion, you get to go first here on this match. We have an ambulance match, and if Julius Creed loses this match, his brother Brutus has to leave NXT. So Damon Kemp is the guy that used to be a part of Diamond Mine with the Creed brothers and Roddy. He is actually the real life brother of Gable Steveson as well. So there's a little fun fact.
Oh,
yeah. So this is going to be an ambulance.
I don't think the Creed brothers split up, so I'm going to take Julius Creed.
Yeah, I would agree with you there.
Are we doing a spreadsheet for this also?
No, there won't be a spreadsheet or anything. This is just.
And I will
fun.
keep extra good track.
You can
Is it
keep
just
up
for
it.
fun?
Oh,
Is it just for fun?
Well, how about
some,
it's for
not for
us
all.
two and whoever's live in the comments. You can give us your picks,
Let me know and I will jot them down.
and we'll have a little fun here with this NXT Halloween Havoc, which is happening Saturday. Unfortunately, I won't be able to watch live. I'll probably have to watch it after the Packers play on Sunday and probably lose because the Packers just keep on losing. Erica or Mikey says, remember to drink every time Erica says, I don't know. It's a good thing I'm drinking water tonight. No hard stuff over here. We got one more comment. Steve, I went bold on my picks. He's going with Damon Kemp.
I'm jotting that down.
I did watch Steve's predictions. He posted his video on his channel, so go check it out. I watched that a couple hours ago, so I always like to see what other people are thinking, but I'm going to go the opposite of Steve. I'm going to go with you, Erica. I think Julius Creed's going to win just because it might be a little too soon to break up the Creed brothers. You still could have Creed lose, and maybe he earns a way for Brutus to get back into NXT. But I think ultimately when we do see the Creeds get called up, they're going to have to be a cohesive tag
Together.
team. Yeah. So if Julius loses and Brutus isn't there, it just doesn't make much sense. So I'm going to go with Julius Creed as well in this match. Steve saying, I just feel it makes more interesting storylines if Julius loses.
Agree.
It probably does. And Mikey said he's got his beer ready. So stay tuned.
Right.
Stay tuned. So let's move on to this one. We don't know the stipulation quite yet. They are going to spin the wheel and make a deal. I'm sure Shotzi or Quincy will be spinning the wheel for this matchup right here. But regardless of the stipulation, I'm going to go with Apollo Crews just because ever since he returned to NXT, we really haven't been doing much with him. And I think his backstage promos are kind of corny. I'm not really feeling this gimmick either, which begs the question, does Apollo Crews even have capabilities of having a good gimmick? I said what I said, but I'm going to go with Apollo Crews in this match, Erica.
Okay, so I feel like, I'm gonna take Grayson Waller.
It's because you're smitten by the Grayson Waller effect, aren't you?
I've been hit with it, but I also, like you said, like Apollo Crews, when you wrote Crews versus Waller, I was like, are we talking about Apollo? I didn't know that he was still down there.
You have to say Apollo! Like Steve wrote down.
I didn't realize he was still down there. And then, like, I don't know, like I would like to see Grayson Waller maybe go to the main roster, but not yet. But I also don't think that he needs to, like, I don't know. He's such a, like,
polarizing guy.
And he's like a little schmuck punk too, but
he's a modern day Miz. But
I like him. I like him, so I'm gonna keep him. I don't know.
Maybe Grayson's just being a fuck on Twitter, but he's been teasing Wyatt Six stuff. There's a lot of people are speculating that he's the buzzard, which he's just being a troll. But what if Crews wins and then Waller goes to be a part of the Wyatt Six after that?
Because couldn't you picture, like, I feel like in like a spooky group like that, like everyone's kind of like super serious, or maybe you kind of get like a Liv Morgan, like Harley Quinn type, or like whatever the hell Alexa was doing. But like, imagine having somebody like Grayson Waller that's just like a complete like spazzy, like wild card, just like the way that he like moves. I don't know, like I feel like that would be like very interesting.
It would be.
So that's cool, but I also think he's definitely trolling, but I think that would be cool too.
I also think he's got a gimmick where he doesn't need to be a part of a group to debut.
No, he's got it.
I think you can debut the Grayson Waller gimmick as is on the main roster, and I think it works. But maybe it won't work if he's on the same brand as The Miz, because I'm telling you, they just give me similar vibes.
Or even like Austin Theory. I feel like they're kind of like, they might hate him like that.
Steve saying Waller has bags of potential. Amazing Apollo Crews is my favorite. Bless you, Erica.
Thank you.
Erica's going with Grayson Waller. I'm going with Apollo Crews. Yeah. Let's move on here to the match I am most looking forward to, and this is probably the best story. What is that supposed to mean, Erica? Elaborate. Roxanne Perez is like 20. That's weird.
She's 20. Why is that weird?
There's the rule where you take half your age and you add 7. She doesn't make the cut. Sorry. Cora Jade, I think, just makes it, by the way. Just throwing that out there. But back to wrestling. The reason we're here is to talk about the actual match, and it's going to be a weapons match between these two. This story goes back to them winning the tag team titles, and then Cora turns on her a week later. Here we are at Halloween Havoc. I'll go first for this one. Cora has basically been winning this entire feud. She ended NXT on top. Roxanne just lost to Rhea. Cora technically got the win in her match against Raquel. Roxanne needs a win. And I tweeted this out when she showed up on SmackDown. I think Roxanne's such a good and pure babyface. She will be women's world champion on the main roster in 2024. You heard it here. Roxanne Perez to defeat Cora Jade in this weapons match.
I'm also taking her just because I like her better.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Do you have any opinions on Cora Jade? Like, did you enjoy the heel turn or the heel run, I should say, better than face?
I really didn't see too much of it.
You have a house phone ringing.
We know when it's ringing. It's all solicitors. I don't know. I feel like this, and she dates Braun Breaker now. I just feel like I don't know.
Great reasoning there on Cora Jade, Erica. I don't know.
Asked.
You don't like her. That's what it is. You could say you don't like her.
But I don't know what it was. Like, I was like annoyed when like Darby was like talking shit about her, and I was like, she's like, leave her alone. Like, she's just like whatever. But then I don't know. I think she's kind of like going through whatever. Is she like early 20s?
Yeah, she's like 21, 22 years old.
Yeah.
They're both young. And they're both super talented. Like, in a couple of years, these two ladies are going to be on the main roster, and they're going to be killing it. And maybe one day they'll be tag team champions on the main roster. Who knows?
I just wish you'd stop with this because it just doesn't work for many people. So I think it's just like cringe, like, you know.
Mikey goes, I'm drunk already.
Oh, right.
You're doing that. I don't know. I don't know. Steve says, if you were in a weapons match, what would your wrestling weapon of choice be, Erica?
A bat wrapped in barbed wire.
Good pick. What would be mine?
Thanks.
I like that pick, but mine would be a wiffle ball bat.
Wrapped in
because I play wiffle.
Wrapped in chicken wire.
That's a good. I'm trying to think. Oh, maybe those like light tubes that you use on GCW.
Oh, but like 3 of them, like
they just fucking explode,
cluster.
And they get in your lap when you're at GCW. That's my weapon of choice right there. The cluster. As you would say.
Yes.
Steve's going with Roxanne as well, so I think that makes it.
Wait, Steve, who did you pick for?
He's going with Apollo.
Okay.
Just making sure you heard me.
Okay.
Did you hear me?
Yeah, you broke my AirPods.
Oh, speaking of AirPods, guess what?
What? You got some?
Yeah. Well, I didn't know I was getting some. I hit an incentive for work, and I got an email today. They're like, "Hey, we're sending your AirPods for yada yada yada." I'm like, oh, I won something? Cool.
No shit.
So I did something good for work, and they were rewarding me with AirPods. So I'm going to be like you. Enjoy the wires, people. This might be the last episode.
Well, don't ask me for technical support because I barely figure mine out every week.
Don't worry, Erica. You would be the last person I would ask for technical support.
Hey, I figure it out every week.
Emotional support, I'd put you in my top 3. Don't worry. You're up there.
Thank you.
That's the nicest thing I'll ever say to you on a podcast. Let's move on to this one. The Fatal 5-Way ladder match for the NXT North American Championship. You got Carmelo Hayes, Ora Mensah, who's coming from NXT UK. We don't know much about him. Wesley, Von Wagner, a.k.a. Come Tuesday, and Nathan Frazier. Erica, obviously, you don't know a few of these people. Is that going to influence your pick, or are you just going to throw a dart and see what happens here?
I mean, I know 3 people, but it's in between 2 for me.
I'm assuming
I want Carmelo.
It's Carmelo or Wesley, right?
Yeah. I love Carmelo a lot. I would also like more for him.
Well, here's the thing. He says he's the A champ. Why isn't he going after the A championship?
And not for nothing, but like, I feel like, especially now in this, I'm going to say it for the 3rd time, Triple H era, like, especially with Survivor Series coming up, who's to say that it can't be the North American Championship versus the Intercontinental versus the United States Championship or something like that. And I think
Maybe.
Carmelo would be fantastic. I'm keeping Carmelo Hayes.
With that thinking, that makes sense. So I will say good pick, Erica. Our research department, aka Steve, says, I don't know much about Ora Mensah either. No, he was a tag champ in NXT UK. That's about it. We will get to know Ora, but yeah, I just don't think he's going to win. Von Wagner just seems like the typical put a big guy in a ladder match and do some cool things. You know, he's just there to be there. So it's between Nathan Frazier, Carmelo Hayes, and Wes Lee for me. I don't think it's going to be Carmelo Hayes just because he's won it a few times already. And I, like you were saying, I kind of want bigger and better things for him. So let's get him just out of this title scene for good. And him not winning here could probably do that. So it's really Nathan Frazier or Wes Lee. And Wes Lee.
I'll choose Wes Lee. I want him to.
Yeah, Wes Lee has been featured more on TV and been a part of storylines on NXT. So with that logic, I think Wes Lee makes sense. So I'm going to go with Wes Lee, but if I had to have a second pick, I'd go with Nathan Frazier. But regardless, ladder matches are cool, and I'm excited for it. Steve's saying Nathan Frazier was his pick. He originally thought Wes Lee, but think Tony D'Angelo or Stax will cost him. Yeah, that's another bad thing about picking Wes Lee. He's involved already in like storylines, so they could come out and cost him. Or what if Trick Williams does something, you know, Carmelo's dude, to cost him? I'm going to stick with it. Wes Lee.
Stick with it. No one likes a flip-flopper.
Yeah, you would know about that, wouldn't you?
I would know about that.
But you're going with Carmelo, right?
Sure am.
Right on. All right, we got two more matches here. This one I don't think has a stipulation. Steve, you can correct me if I'm wrong. We have the NXT Women's Championship match between Mandy Rose and Alba Fire. Fun fact for you, Erica, before you make your pick, Mandy Rose won this title at Halloween Havoc last year. So here we are a year later, still champion. Does that affect your pick on this match?
I'm going to choose Alba Fire, but I choose it because I think I like that Mandy went down to NXT, and I hate saying down to NXT, went over to NXT. She kind of reinvented herself. She's a much more formidable wrestler than she was on the main roster previously, in my opinion. And I think she could easily go back. I don't know the deal with Toxic Attraction with Gigi and what's her face, but
they're not doing much right now.
I think she could go. I think she could go back. I don't think WWE knows. There's not a shot. WWE knows how to use and showcase the women on their roster. You could have a crowded women's roster, but I think that would just lead to more women's matches, especially with somebody like Triple H steering the ship. So I don't think it would be a bad thing having a big player like Mandy Rose getting called back up. She's had it for a year. I think it's changing of the guards. I'm going to go Alba Fire.
And also, Erica, like if it's not Alba Fire, I don't see anybody else on that roster that would take it from her. Maybe Roxanne Perez, but it doesn't make sense for Cora to be the one to defeat Mandy Rose. And I just don't think there's anyone other than maybe a Nikita Lyons, because Zoe Stark already had a shot, and they're doing tag team stuff, and they're going to face off against Casey and Quintana, I think her name is. I'm not 100% sure. No, Quintana's what she used to be called.
Casey and
Carter, something Carter. They need a tag team name, Caden Carter. They need just a unit name. Steve said no stipulation to my knowledge here. Mandy Rose is his pick to win, and Mikey Wilson's going with Mandy for his pick.
I hate when you say that.
I know. Steve said, does feel like Gigi and JC are waiting for Mandy to lose the gold so they can go to Raw or SmackDown. And that's exactly why I am picking Alba Fire to become the new NXT Women's Champion. I think it's a good story to tell from Mandy gaining it at Halloween Havoc and then losing it at Halloween Havoc. Toxic Attraction's really not doing much right now in NXT. Former champions, they got called up to that women's tag team champion on the main roster. They've had a few matches already there. I think they are ready for that next step. And honestly, if Mandy goes up to the main roster, like you were saying, I think she's bigger than what she was before. And having Gigi and JC there as well, you can have a feud with Damage Control. There's a 3v3 right there. You got something to tell. So I think Alba Fire's good enough to be NXT Women's Champion. The new gimmick's kind of cool. So I'll go with Alba Fire as well. And Mikey said that just because he wanted me to say that to you, because he knew that you didn't like when I say Mandy.
I don't like. I want to take my pods out.
Which one do you like more, or which one would you rather hear? The Mandy, Andre Chase, or Apollo?
Oh, give me a fourth option.
Did somebody say Andre Chase?
No.
I wish somebody would. I should get a Chase U shirt. I should have one. It's a missed
opportunity. Who has one?
I should have one. I'm saying I should have a Chase U shirt.
You should. You should. I thought you said, how did you? I was going to say, this is a fucking Costco sweatshirt I bought myself. What do you mean? I'm cold.
We know. You've said that a few times. You're cold.
I said it once.
No, I think it's 3, but we'll move on. NXT Championship match. Last match here on the card. Braun Breaker looking to defend his title against Ilya Dragunov and JD McDonough. This match, at first, looked obvious to me, especially with it being a triple threat, that it would be Braun Breaker to retain. But NXT ended with A-Town down. We saw Austin Theory come out, hold up the Money in the Bank briefcase, and kind of tease to potentially cash in on the NXT Championship match.
Okay.
I'm going with Braun Breaker to retain because I think eventually Ilya Dragunov would be the one to become champion. But I have a bonus selection. The way Austin Theory has been treated on the main roster ever since the Triple H era began is not great. And I don't think they firmly believe he is world championship material quite yet. And I don't really know, other than Dragunov in a singles match, who could take that title off of Braun Breaker. You can even revisit this feud on the main roster in a year. I think Austin Theory is going to cash in on Braun Breaker after the match and become NXT champion. So I'm going with Braun in the initial match, but I think Austin Theory is going to walk away with the NXT championship. Maybe I'm just being a mark, Erica, because they teased it at the end, but I actually think it would be beneficial to Theory to go and be NXT champion.
I also do. And now that you've thrown that in there, I have nothing else to add. I agree full-fledged. I also think Braun Breaker. I think if Theory does cash in, then especially it's Braun Breaker. And I wonder the KO side of it, because
maybe
he had his own beef with Theory on the main roster not that long ago either. So that's like an interesting little thing in that for me, but I'm going to echo what you said, exactly how you said it. And that would be awesome. And that would be great for Austin Theory.
I think that's exactly what Austin Theory needs right now is an NXT championship run. And I think Braun Breaker is ready to take that next step, similar to Mandy. I think Breaker's just ready for the main roster. He's a star in the making. Honestly, he's probably one of their pillars of the future of the WWE. So if Theory ain't cutting it on the main roster, make him NXT champion for a little bit, have maybe Ilya Dragunov take that title off of him, and then kind of just reset NXT championships, because you would have, in my predictions, Mandy losing and there being a new era with Alba Fire, and then Theory getting that and stealing it from Braun Breaker. So I think that'd be the most fun way to end Halloween Havoc. Just having
that'd be a good way to end it too. Yeah.
You think you will be watching this show, or probably not? You got stuff going on.
Yeah, no, I plan to watch it.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Lucky. I'm kind of jealous. Yes. I have a Vegas night. It's kind of just like a fundraiser thing, but you drink and you play blackjack and stuff like that. So I'll be gambling.
That's cool.
Tonight. Yeah. Hopefully I win. But I'll watch. I'll definitely watch NXT Halloween Havoc for sure on a later time. But that's all we got this week. It is that time of the show where we award our most valuable mark of the On the Mark Wrestling podcast, and it's really between two people this week: Mikey Wilson, who made a rare appearance, and Steve, SCW Steve, as I like to call him, the reigning, defending MVM of the On the Mark Wrestling podcast. and I'm going to make the executive decision. It is between these two, but I am going with and still MVM of the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, SCW, Steve, who is now, Erica, a 3-week reign for MVM.
Ooh.
Approaching Vogus territory.
I was going to say, as long as Vogus, I forgot his reign.
It's kind of impressive.
Mikey, I threw your name in that hat.
I'm working on it. He's trying to get the pandering vote.
He doesn't have to. Mikey always gets my vote. Anytime you show up, Mikey, you're my vote. No offense, Steve.
Wow.
Mikey just never what?
I'm just gonna pop the graphic back up so Steve knows he's still the champ. You're throwing.
I'm not talking any shit about Steve. Is well deserved.
The narrative going to the next show. Does Erica hate Steve?
Yeah, clickbait.
I know I said it last week, but we're going to have to get Steve on one of these shows. And if Tucky has a busy schedule coming up, maybe we will be able to make that happen. But hopefully for us, Tucky does make his return very soon because it ain't OTM without Jim Tucker. Am I right?
It's just OT. Oh, no, it's OM.
Oh, look at that. The mayor can't. He said, just stopping in late, wanted to say hi and see if you guys saw that Athena match on Dark and have any thoughts. Is it the one where she kind of went in on her opponent?
Yes. And here's the thing. I hate the kids that are trying to be like tough, like, oh, if you ever watched, Vader back in the day, if you ever watched, so-and-so, like, yeah, you shit your pants. And it's like, it's very different. It's very different. And I don't give a shit I don't care how snug she works. I don't care how hard she was hitting her. That one dumb ass spot alone was so unnecessary and ridiculous and dangerous and foolish that I just really made me lose something that I really didn't have all that much for Athena.
Is this your tomatoes?
Oh my God, these are my tomatoes. Thank you, Mayor. Yes, these are my tomatoes. Boo you, Athena Palmer. That is what you get my tomatoes this week. It was unnecessary. It was really unnecessary. I thought it was dumb, foolish, dangerous, like I said. And I saw somebody mention that like on these dark matches, like they are sort of like becoming a trend to have this sort of like tone to them. And is it
like a shoot style?
Is it them being like angry that like nothing's really going for you on like the main roster? That's what somebody was suggesting. And it would almost make sense. And it's cool if the girl like that she was facing was cool with it and like in control and like has no gripe with it. That's great. We're all entitled to our opinions. And I just think that was just like really fucking dumb to do in 2022 when you know better. You've probably been trained better. There's a difference between working snug and working stiff and literally just taking somebody and like hucking them out of the ring to like land on like their feet like that. It was just.
So were there reports that like Athena was intentionally doing what she did?
I think there was just reports of like, why the fuck are you doing that? Like, what was that about? It was just like hard to watch. Like, it was just kind of weird.
I'll have to go back and check it out because I don't know the full details behind everything. But the MVM himself has a statement. Appreciate the MVM again. Wilson was certainly a worthy contender. God, Steve is such a good baby face. 3 weeks, says MVM. Let's go for that record. And
you could get it.
Mayor agrees. He hated it and would have fired her on the spot. And throw those tomatoes, Erica, because
I did.
They are very warranted. Always a message away if you ever want to collab. Yeah, I've been a part of SCW channel. It's time for Steve to be a part of OTM. But Erica, I think that's all we got for him. Any final remarks as we close out episode 119? 119 episodes. Holy shit.
Crazy. I am excited for Halloween Havoc this Saturday. I feel like it's the night that Shotzi really comes alive, so I'm looking forward to that. I offered to dress in my Shotzi gear. No one really seemed to do it, so maybe for our Halloween show.
How about next week? I unfortunately will not be able to make the trip to Tahoe to visit my co-host Tuck, but I still have my Kurt Angle costume, so I might as well bring it out next week.
Might as well.
We will have to do.
The green wig.
We all are going to dress up next week, whether Tucky's with us or not. Maybe we'll have a special guest. Who knows? But possibilities are endless. Erica, don't forget, onthemarkwrestlingpodcast.com has some fire merchandise. Use promo code HAVOC, HAVOC, at checkout. you will save 10% off your order. And I think that will do it for us here for episode 119. Thank you for listening to the On the Mark Wrestling podcast.